Cash sent an email, I think last week, and everybody should have the workbook based on that. Just 1 second, let me check what time and date.
Yeah, I read the other thing over the weekend. And electric. That's the first time I actually have read any of these. But I basically, the last time I got the Cadastral Editor User Manual, data draft.
Let's see.
Training workbook was sent on Friday, 11:38 a.m. So that should be the workbook.
We have the Cadastral Editor Training Workbook.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. Then the other one was, I don't know, it's the user manual, the editor user manual. I don't know if
That was sent, I think, on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sometime on Wednesday, I believe, is when that was sent out.
Did everybody get it?
Yeah, I didn't see the other one. I saw the user manual. It's a 73 page user manual.
Right, and the editor, oh, wait a second. This is what happened. Okay, I'm sorry, Ted. This went to your county address. Eeks.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
county email address keeps popping up in our email listing. So when we start typing in your, first and last name on our Outlook, it probably just does that. And I've been asking people to, but it's like, yeah, I know you missed. Whenever you say you didn't get something, I know that's where it went. So let me send it to you again.
All right.
On your correct email address and the city email address. Just 1 second. Yeah. Friday.
How was everybody's Monday going?
So far, so good.
Awesome.
We're doing good. Thanks.
Oh, it came from Cash, so it will be in the email. Okay. Now I just sent you the email, Ted.
Okay.
Okay. Cash, do you have the PowerPoint open?
Let me open that for you. Right here.
I got the user manual.
So here is the PowerPoint.
Want me to send it to you again?
So I just copied in the Cadastral from DCSE folder for the workbook.
Okay, Cash. You're going to start the presentation.
Yeah, if everybody is ready, here we are, and welcome, welcome to the Cadastral editing basic workflows, introduction, so to say. We have some workflows lined up today. You guys may have questions. Glad to answer all of those. And I don't think everybody has this PowerPoint, perhaps, but if you want me to send this to you or send it in the chat, I can do that. Haritha, what are your thoughts there?
It's just PowerPoint to facilitate our discussion, but yeah, let's go ahead and okay. Cash, let's go to the slide 1 in the beginning. Okay. Can you run in presentation mode?
Is it not in presentation? 1 second, Haritha. Let's go.
slideshow.
Hmm. From the beginning.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the
Okay.
training, everyone. And Cash will be doing most of the presentation and demonstrations today. We're also connected to your environment, and we will go through, we will switch between demos and the slides, but mostly we will have a lot of demos going on today. And we will give you an opportunity to try out the workflows, and we'll be recording that too. But at the same time, it will be like we'll go at a pace at which everybody is comfortable. Okay, so let's go to the next slide, please. Yeah, I think this is all the basics. So I'm going to skip through the basic introductory slides, but we are going to be editing in ArcGIS Desktop, and you're going to be maintaining the cadastral data in ArcGIS Desktop instead of CADME. The topics, we're going to be looking at some basic training format. We just talked about that already. We're going to be looking at your GIS data, what's in your GIS data, your editing environment, editing workflows, and then quality control. We may not cover all of these today. We'll be covering a little bit of the basic editing today. Okay. So this training, the goal of this training is that you will be able to do the edits yourself, right? The sooner the better. So as soon as you're getting comfortable with your editing environment, and once you are used to making versions, editing, and then going through the cadastral workflows and doing some edits, then you will then be moving on to the production environment. So right now you're kind of in the development environment. Our training format is that we have the PowerPoint, and then you have the exercise workbook, right? And in that exercise workbook, you have questions and answers that you will have to fill in as we go through the training. And if you're not able to finish some of the training exercises today, um, we can set a goal of doing that before your next training. So that's the plan. Eventually, you have to finish these exercises. Okay, and we will also review your results, your exercise results, and then we can discuss about how you could have done things differently, or what's a different way to do some things and things like that, or if you have any questions. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so the topic one is know your GIS. Okay, and for that we are going to be looking at your data in the ArcCatalog format and in ArcMap as needed. So we'll do that. Okay, as far as your data is concerned, your environment is that you're in 10.7.1. And what you will use to maintain your data is really 10.7.1. I put 10.6.1 there because sometimes the water team and the electric team, I mean, they are using 10.6.1, but everybody else is using 10.7.1. And then there is an MXD you will be using for QC and editing. You will not be using ArcFM. It's for the electric and the water team, but we just generally put all of your tools that you're using in general. Okay, there is something called Attribute Assistant, and then there is the parcel editor tools, and you're going to be using the data reviewer for the batch job files. Okay, and your learning resources, you have your documents, editor manuals, quick guides, and workbooks, and Esri help files. And then we have this training, and then you have the Esri training. Did everybody take a look at the recommended Esri trainings?
No.
From the city side? Okay, okay. So that's a good tutorial to the training from Esri, but you can do it after we finish this training. The next one that we have is the resources of people, where you have your colleagues who are already familiar. Of course, Ted has the answers to all of your questions too. And Ken is here, and you can probably ask Lisa any questions you may have in general. So you have a good number of your colleagues who are experts too. And then we have DCSC available until the project completion. So we can have any follow-up, meetings after this training, so far as till the end of this project completion. And then industry, there is a user group, especially for parcels. I know that the Esri industry group is a little bit ahead in the sense that they're already in, promoting Pro. They're no longer talking about ArcMap, but at least the workflows are the same. And that's your future roadmap too. So it's good to connect with them. So Esri's industry group on industry focus group on the parcels and land records. Okay. So that's something that you can look at. Online forums such as GeoNet and so on. They're all helpful. So these are all your learning resources. Okay. Any questions on this?
No.
Okay. So move forward. So let's look at your GIS environment, geodatabase. And I will do one thing. What my plan is that we have your workbook in this aspect, so we'll look at that. But Cash will probably give you an overview of your data right now. So Cash, you should probably open up the map environment. Okay, and let's review what's in the GIS geodatabase. Now, you'll have to end this, yeah, in the PowerPoint for a minute. Okay, and go on to this and open up catalog. Catalog is the best way, our catalog window. And we will walk through what's in your data. Okay, so everybody has the database connection to the GIS edits dev environment, right? So can you go to GIS edits dev, double click any of those?
Database connections.
Yeah, the connection that Cash has clicked right now is the connection based on like the owner user, which is the Arc user. What I will do is basically go to the GIS edits dev environment here. It's connecting, just a second. Okay, so you will see that there are two data sets over here that we are looking for, which is the cadastral and the cadastral reference, right?
Are we supposed,
Okay.
are we supposed to have this open somewhere?
Yeah, on your own computer, you can click on it and then you can take a look at it.
I don't have HVGIS edits devs SDE under my
Yeah,
database connections.
correct. But what you
I got
would
Doug
have
at
is your
dev.
own. Exactly.
You should have Doug at GIS
Doug?
Edit.
Okay.
Right, your
It's
own
got a little,
connection.
it's got a little red X on it, but right now it's thinking.
Yeah. When you double click it, if you have already made a connection, when you double click on it, then it would, connect to it. And once it connects, you'll get that plus mark that you can
Got it.
drill
And then
down.
I got cadastral and I got cadastral reference.
Yes, but you also see all of the other data sets there,
Yep.
right? Okay. Okay. Let's, so Cash, would you like to go over the data sets? Okay, so Cache is showing you the parcel fabric straight off right now. There's all the other data sets also. We will come back and take a look at those. But this is the parcel fabric within your cadastral data set, right? And it's got, and he's going to describe to you all the different feature classes that you see there. Cash, we cannot hear you. Are you speaking? Hello, Cash.
Parcel fabric, there it is. Parcel dimension, parcel fabric, got it. And then parcel fabric opens up and I get control, line points, lines, parcels, plans, points.
Cash needs to adjust his mic settings and then we can hear him. 1 second, please.
How about now?
Yep, we're good.
Is this good?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, I just needed to reset those. Yeah, so in a parcel fabric, it's made up of lines, points, and polygons, as well as your plan table, which maintains all the plans. The control points are, your control points, your monuments, your survey grade control points. The line points are used for connectivity between the parcels, between all of these different features, as well as the fabric points, which are just your basic standard parcel fabric points. And I'll go through these in the table of contents as well. But these are all the main feature classes that make up the parcel fabric that you'll be editing the most. And the plans are obviously really important because those are the plans, the survey plans that you'll be, editing this data based on. Your lines are things like roads. They're also parcel boundaries, they're easements, they're all of your line features that eventually become polygons. So all of the lines essentially are on top of the polygons as well, in most cases, right? So we'll get into the topology and all of that in the advanced training, but for today, learning the parcel fabric is I think essential for everyone to get used to it, get used to editing it, and asking questions and finding problems that you have doing your daily workflows. Yeah.
Okay, at this point, I would also like to add a few more things here. Is that as you see here, this is if you look at something that looks like this is called like a data set, inside which you will have other feature classes. Okay, so if you see an icon that looks like this and you can drill down into it, then it's a data set. So cadastral and cadastral references are your data sets, but you will not be editing anything inside the cadastral reference. These are for your background information only. So in your map MXD document, we have added things and added these feature classes, but you're not going to be able to edit them. Okay, any kind of edits needs to be done by the GIS IT GIS team. Okay, so here, going back to the cadastral again, parcel fabric is a very, very important component. Everything that you do, most of your edits will be centered around that. Then there are other things that are related to the cadastral, which is you have everything starting from addresses to the street center lines, and the track maps. So everything's over here. When you see an A, it means it's your labels or your text information. Okay, and when you see the 3 dots, then it's your point feature classes. Going to this preview button here, you can see, it will show up in a minute. You can see the, just the layer here in our catalog. You can even do things like identifying, zooming in, and all of those things. These are the basics of that, and then you can see the table of your data. You can also then look at descriptions. So if you have any descriptions that people have given, you will see that information over here. Maybe you when they did the migration, they said where it came from. So basically you have that information over here. Okay, so if these points are defined by these 3 dots, then what are these? Can anybody say?
Lines?
Yes, these are the line feature classes. And in the line feature classes, this one specifically is for your tick marks. Then you have the other lines, for street center line and so on. Then you have something for the polygon. So this is the tentative map. You have your annexation, which is a polygon, and your street the city limits is also a polygon layer. And then your easement, you have a polygon easement layer in which it is empty feature class currently, but you do have the same easements being represented as the easement line, right? So cache, is it okay I go over some of this information, and then you can switch back to your demo. So I'm going to the cadastral topology. I'll show you what's in the topology. If I go to the properties, and it takes a minute to show up, but there's about 100 rules, if not more. Okay, this is telling you the cluster tolerance, which was the default. It was already there when you initially built the topology. It had few rules, but we added so many more. These are all the feature classes that participate. And then these are the different rules that we have. We took all the rules that we got from you, and then we put it in here, all except for one rule, and Lata can later document or send you information on that rule that didn't make it through. And so these are the different rules that we have. And then you can also generate a summary of their errors, but we'll come back to topology later. Okay, I'm going to cancel this out. And any
And you also
questions
have
on? Mhm.
you have the relationship class icon.
Yes, that's what I meant. Okay, so this is the relationship class icon, which is basically, you won't see there is nothing specific in it, but it only tells which feature class is related to the other, uh, and most of these are for annotation to the features. That means the text, the labels to the features themselves. For example, let me show you. CAD address is the label here. CAD address point is the actual feature class, right? Label and the feature class. So it actually goes this way. This is the feature class. This is the related label to that. And this is the relationship class between those two. Give a right click. I go to the properties. Then you can see that it's a one-to-many. That means one point can have many labels with it. And then the object ID must be equal to the feature ID. That's the relationship, how it's defined. Okay, and if this object ID of the point is equal to the feature ID of the text, then you will get that relationship working well. And when you change the address in the point, then the label will change automatically at that point. Does it make sense? So this is how it works. And this is for making something more complicated. We're not going into these rules right now, but basically I just wanted to show you how this relationship class works. Okay, so given that, I think actually this is a good time for anybody to start on the editor workbook, right, and look at the exercise 1. And we'll walk through the exercise 1, and we will make notes or give the answers to the exercise 1. Okay, so who wants to demonstrate, or would you like us to demonstrate this?
Should we be getting the same display in our main area as you're getting on, like yours right now says GIS Ed Dev at Arc Cadastral. Ours are, Eswin and I's are both blank.
Really? Good time to switch to your screen then. Let me see your screen. I will
Yeah.
make you the presenter. Okay, that is correct. You're not able to see because what we were showing you was something called Arc Catalog, and you are looking at it inside ArcMap. So there is a little mini catalog sort of inside ArcMap. But if you go to the start, your start programs, you will be able to find something called Arc Catalog. You can keep this open, it's okay. I would like you to open the software itself called Arc Catalog. It's a
Yeah.
different one.
Okay,
Find
I
it at
don't.
the bottom
Do you
left.
want me to close this, or you want me to open something else up, or what?
Yeah. Go ahead. There is, you see that down there? That one.
Arc catalog.
Yeah, that's the full-fledged Arc Catalog. What you saw there was something that shows up within ArcMap, and that's very useful too. But I tend to, when I'm showing like data and everything, I show like this. So now do the, yeah, double click your connection, and then it will allow you to browse more of your data here. That's why I like.
Do we draft in our catalog or do we draft in the other one?
Um,
So you'll do your edits in ArcMap.
Editing is all in ArcMap, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So think of catalog as just being it's like Windows Explorer, but for spatial data.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the back end.
Mm-hmm. It's useful to see what layers are there, because sometimes, I mean, not everything is showing up on your map. You don't see all of these other layers. But if you ever had a question on, sewer layers and storm layers, how do we get them? They are all available through this. And you can add them to your ArcMap if you need to. But if you want to explore your data, this is a good way to do it.
Okay.
If you click on the preview button on the top there, you'll see more. Okay. Eswin, are you able to get to this?
Yes, I'm there right now.
Okay, good. Now, depending on the layer you selected, depending on how many, smaller layers like 1 or 2 features will show up faster. Bigger layers will take a little bit longer, like it's happening right now. Okay, so that's why when you click preview, always choose something will have just less a few features, or even an empty layer, things like that if you wanted to. But here's a preview of that layer, which is the CAD addresses. Okay. The one thing we want to then show you is about know your data, and this was all in our catalog, right? So the first question I believe is, I think, Cash, do you want to go over this exercise with the
Yeah,
team?
sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, let's see. Does everybody have the workbook open? The editor training workbook?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Okay. So the first question is, so know your data, right? So these toolbars, the standard toolbar obviously is used for your map printing, creating a new map, opening an existing map, saving your map, starting related ArcGIS applications, and more. So your standard toolbar, you can find your toolbars if you go to customize. So go back to ArcMap.
Okay, Cash would like you to look at the toolbars first and then look at the data. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So if you go to the customize menu at the top there, go to toolbars and then go down to standard. And you can uncheck that just so you have an idea where it was, and then go back and check it back on. Okay, so you see where the your magnifying glass, you know where the hand is, your pan tool to the right. Okay, so that toolbar, do you see the 3 dots to the left of that one? You were just there. Those 3 dots, hold that down and drag that down into the map. There you go. So that's just your tools toolbar. And this is where you can, zoom into an area, draw a box with that first zoom tool. Then, if you wanted to zoom out, you could use that second zoom tool. Let's add some data in here to get familiar with this. So we could start with the parcel fabric. So in Cadastral, scroll down to the parcel fabric. Perfect. And if you want to start with just something like points, like even control points, you could just drag those into the map. And that way it won't take too much to draw all of the features. Lines and parcels take a lot of time to draw. So these are just much faster. So then you could use the one to the far left and then just draw a box around.
Once you selected the zoom in button, you see its blue highlight there around it. That means it's still active until you click on something else. So you don't have to keep on clicking the same button again and again. Okay.
Got it.
So this is basically like adding a data set and then looking at the data from there. The other toolbar that you're going to work with, Cash, go ahead. Sorry. Hello, Cash.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay. I don't know why this Bluetooth has to reset. Sorry about that. So you have your tools toolbar, and the identify tool is important there as well. To identify your features, the attributes, and what those are. Now at the top, you could right click on that feature that's highlighted in the window right above, and you could right click on that right underneath there. Right, auto, yeah, and then you have options here as well. You could select it, you could zoom to it, you could flash, you could pan to it, things like that. You could even open the attribute table to look at it, or go to the layer properties itself. So this is a helpful tool as well. Another helpful tool here would be your find tool. So if you were to click X on this menu, so if you click X here, go to the right to the binoculars, the black binoculars, and that's going to be very helpful. The find tool. That's where you can locate a certain feature in a feature. Click on the locations tab there. This is where you can locate a street name or an intersection. It uses the ArcGIS World geocoding service, so all this data is already there for you, available. Or you can create your own geocoder, but that's outside of the scope of this. If you go back to features there, I want to show you a trick. If you drop in where it says in, so it's a second menu where it says visible layers, drop that down and you can choose. So select control point, or to control the yellow layer. Perfect, that one. And then under find, the in field below. So now we're going to search in a specific field. If you go to the in field below at the very bottom, check that, drop that down. Let's say you wanted to search by name or survey date or any of these fields. You could search by name and then type that in the find box up there. If you knew the name of a control point by chance, and it would take you straight there. So that's that. That's the find tool. So we can X out of here or cancel.
Also be aware of the find tool where if you don't click in field and you type in a number, you may 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You may end up with the object ID and not what you're looking for.
Okay.
If you click all fields, it's better to actually click in field just to get the exact value you're looking for. Because if you click all fields, it's going to search for everything. Now, if it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's like some name, Smith Street, then maybe all fields would work because then it will identify all the different fields.
This is a good point. And if you don't search the in field, sometimes it can take a really long time to query through all of that data to find, and it might bring you back multiple values. So it could end up taking you a while for your workflow.
And then also the linear referencing tab, we don't actually have any data. Linear referencing would be a street name, and then segments of the street would be broken up by traffic pavement type and speed limit. That's where you use linear referencing. Location would be, you could do Smith and Wesson, Smith ampersand Wesson to get an intersection, or just Smith, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Smith Street or whatever it may be. I don't know why it's like I have guns in my head, but
Yeah, you can go to locations and then do that kind of query. So let's actually go through exercise 1. I mean, we will talk about the toolbars when you're working on the workflow specifically. Okay. So this is the toolbar for standard tools, right? And then you have your parcel editor toolbar, which is still showing up there. You may have to drag it out if you want to look at it in detail. And it will become active when you start editing. Okay, when you in the following exercises that we're going to be working on. You have the editor toolbar for general edits up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a versioning toolbar. I don't know if, yeah, you do have the versioning toolbar right above that. That's your versioning toolbar. Let me see. I think these are the toolbars. When it comes to data reviewer, you do have the data reviewer toolbar up there, and we'll talk more about that in a couple of sessions. Okay. So exercise 1. We asked you to open up the Cadastral MXD. So do you have the MXD from last time? You can open that one up.
So I'm gonna use the same Cadastral MXD that you guys send us, which is that 107V0.
Yes, we have an updated one, but for exercise 1, just continue with this one. For the next exercise, we will give you the other one. And we have something that, an exercise to fix MXD too. So we'll talk about that. Okay. Okay. So can you maximize your MXD? Okay. So that it's all clear and bigger to see. Let's walk through the steps. So the first question, Cash, go ahead, start the exercise, or you can ask the questions, or do you want me to ask? I can do that.
Yeah, sure. So the first question is going to be, let me make sure I'm on the correct screen. Okay. Yeah, so how many feature classes are included in the parcel fabric?
Parcel cadastral data set. Where's my parcel fabric? 1, 2, 3, 6.
Perfect. Excellent.
So make a note of the answer in your workbook. Don't forget, because you will be, we want to make sure that you fill in all the exercise notes. Okay. Second question.
So what is the difference between type and city parcel type attribute field? So
In the parcel feature class, right?
that's correct.
In the polygon, parcels polygon feature class.
Go
So
to use your table of contents, Doug or Esmond. Yep, there you go.
So those are in your table of contents. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for type and city parcel type.
yeah,
So
you're
these
looking
are fields that will live inside of the parcels
layer.
underneath parcel fabric. Yeah.
So look for the parcel fabric group and parcels there. Open up the parcels layer attributes.
Yeah, right click on that parcel and open attribute table. And then click, you see the turquoise tables to the bottom there, little mini, records. Click the one on the left. So there you have type. There's a field called type right there.
Tax parcel.
Correct. So, and then you have another field.
So you can freeze this field, right click on the top of the type and then say freeze field. What it will do is it will hold it for you in the front.
And then the next one that we're going to be looking for is city parcel type.
What is the difference between type and city parcel type? One's a text parcel and one's another a text parcel.
Yeah. So what are
But is it true for all of them? Like, because not all of your parcels are tax parcels, right? So I guess our question is, what is the difference between those two fields? What gets recorded in one field versus the other field?
So what you could do, Doug, is you could right click on type, and you could say like sort of send.
Maybe
You're
you're
gonna
on.
find you're gonna find multiple types in there. You don't just have one called tax parcel. You have to wait a second, and then once that gets sorted, then the right below the field there's a left arrow, a right arrow. There's a line with an arrow right next to. Get right in there. That basically the first one with the line in the triangle that takes you to the first record. The other one takes you to the last record. The other two without the line allows you to step through the lines. What he had you do is move you from the selected table to the full table. When you start selecting records, you'd click the table to the right, and that will show you the selected values. That's a little navigation issue. So now you can see you have city-owned parcels. You can flip it now and go to the very bottom, and then you got right away. So you can have a ways to. That's a generic way instead of having to pan through and use the vertical scroll bar to go through the whole thing. You can jump around and.
Yeah, the helpful tool there.
Right. So it seems like if type is filled, well, type has to be filled for everything, but city parcel type doesn't have to be filled. It seems like that's one conclusion we can come to, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely two different. So type has to be populated. City parcel type.
It's only for
is
parcels, right?
correct. And it's not required that it's populated. So you can have null values in city parcel type, but in type, if you have you can't have null values.
Okay.
And if you wanted to kind of get a gauge on what the values are in the type field, you can look to the table of contents, and below city-owned parcel, you'll see a historic parcels. You'll see number 1 city-owned parcel, number 2 tax parcel, number 3 tract map, 4 parcel map, 5 record of survey, 6 right-of-way center line. That's the way they symbolize based on the type field, Doug.
Exactly. And if you want to expand those, that might be helpful too, because then you'll have, if you expand the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the left there in your table of contents, that'll be really helpful, because those will be the main things that you'll be editing on the day-to-day as far as parcels. So right underneath the green parcels polygon there in the table of contents on the left-hand side, you'll see historic parcels right underneath it, and you'll want to expand historic and then keep expanding 1 through 6.
It just shows you different symbols used for different.
Now those are all tied. Those are all connected to the same parcels feature class underneath the parcel fabric in your catalog. So if you go to the right in your catalog there on the right-hand side under parcel fabric, that parcel's feature class, that polygon, the only polygon in the parcel fabric data set, well, parcel fabric rather, those are all connected to that. And the reason they're all connected to that, they're brought out to be symbolized differently based on that type field right there. So that's the only difference, is there's just different types. Same layer,
Yes.
but different types.
Right. So give a right click on, let's say, tract map, 3-tract map, and then go to properties. Go to definition query. So we have a query there. Type equals 3. System and date is null, but I think I removed that later on. But type equals 3 is a tract map. So we have a query here. So only type equals 3 from the parcel polygons will show up. If you click on the source button there,
Tab. Yeah, there you go.
and then you keep scrolling down, you see it's in Cadastral and it's the parcel fabric parcels there. So we are using the parcel fabric parcels, but just showing you the information in a different way so that you can distinguish between the different kinds of parcels. But we're also showing you the entire parcels layer using that green colored boundary for the parcel fabric. Okay, so let's cancel this out. This is just to show you how the same information can be represented in different ways. You have one layer for parcels, but we have kind of like subdivided that into different layers. And then you have historic parcels, which have a different query. If you give a right click on the historic parcels and then go to the properties and then look at the definition query, it's the same parcels layer, and it's only when historical equals 1, then it shows up in this layer. Okay, so this concept is to show you that there's one layer, but you're showing them in different ways so that it's clear for you when you look at the map, you know, to say that these are all parcels, but different kinds of parcels. Okay.
What happens when a tax parcel and a tract map parcel or a parcel map parcel or a record of survey parcel are the same?
We can only have one type, correct?
Yes. So they shouldn't be the same. And if they end up being the same, then that's when you have to go back to the plan and differentiate exactly what it is. And so you'll have to classify it. Go ahead.
Yes, you're more likely to have a parcel that's created by a parcel map or a tract map than you are to have a parcel map that is strictly created by a tax parcel. So tax parcels should be a set that is very small. So all of these lines in here are tract lines.
Yeah, that coincidence is there. If you do the identify, take the identify tool up there.
Identify the line.
Blue button. There you go.
Yeah, identify, and then you can see what all shows up there. You're identifying topmost layer. Can you, instead of doing that, say identify the visible layers? Up there, identify from, drop down, choose visible layers. Okay, now and go and identify again. Okay, so now you see the parcels there, right? It's not just the lines. The lines are there, that's fine, they're the boundaries. But click on parcels and you will see all the different things. Click on in the identify window. Okay, scroll up. See parcels that you see there. Keep clicking on each one of those and it will flash. You don't need to press the plus button, but just on the parcel lot number. There's a lot of related information that you're seeing there. But let me see, is this Doug's PC that we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to request keyboard and mouse. Okay, thank you. So here, what I want to say is, I'm going to scroll up. There are 3 records for parcels over there, okay, where you clicked. One is that tax parcel record, okay? The other one is this, I think it is the tract map, okay?
Which would be
Then there is one more, which is a higher level, I think a tract map on the outside.
The very original map, yeah.
Right, so that's why you have 3 records within the same parcels layer for that location, okay? One on top of the other. Now, we separated them out into tax parcels, so when you click on tax parcels, only that will show up. But when you click on tract map, you will have 2 records show up. You see that? It's just a different way of showing the data, but everything is actually in this layer. Sake of symbology into different layers. Okay, this still is the same layer with everything on it. But if we showed everything green, it would get so confusing and all. So that's why we kind of broke it up into different layers for you to look at. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if this doesn't make sense, it can always be changed so that so that you can have that symbology over here instead of these. But we'll see how, what your preference is, and then we can change the symbology according to that.
So what's the difference between a city-owned parcel and a tax parcel?
Tax parcel is the assessor's way of taxing everybody's property.
Yeah.
City-owned parcel is just a city-owned parcel. The city owns a lot of land in the city of Riverside.
Oh, okay. City-owned would be like where the city hall is at.
Property that we own in fee title.
Okay. I get it. No, I understand.
Then we got public right away, which is kind of like the streets.
The
thing about
it seemed like there were more city-owned parcels than I was imagining. So it's nice to be able to have a feature inside the parcels to say, hey, that's city-owned.
Yes.
Jack. But it's also nice to know that these lots that we're looking at right here were all created by a tract map. And then once that tract map goes to the county creates assessor parcels numbers. So they're legally tracked from a tract. Then they become tax parcels. So
yeah,
the fact that it's from a tract map or a parcel map or something like that kind of trumps the fact that it's a tax line.
You almost kind of have to know that, hey, this is going to be when you construct it, hey, this is going to be a tax parcel. Because your tract map is your bigger polygon.
Yeah, you're gonna find some
tract boundary. That's the tract boundary, which is not a tract parcel anymore. That tract map separates it into some number of lots. What we're seeing when we see that tract number, that's the tract boundary. Because inside that tract
similar to like a subdivision.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the subdivision boundary, not a tract. So we're kind of got some terminology that's maybe confusing to someone. You can have two legal parcels with one tax number. But they're two separate parcels, and you can have 10 tax parcels on one legal boundary.
Sure.
They don't have to necessarily equals. 99.9% of the time they do, but that might be a symbology.
Now, the inside the orange polygons there, the orange areas. So that is city-owned property. Those like easements that the city owns in between the orange lines there.
It appears that that's right away.
Right of way. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Right of way, public right of way. It's not necessarily city-owned. It's owned by the public.
It's right of way. Okay, gotcha. So the right of ways are classified under city-owned parcels. But even though I see, gotcha. I was just making sure
because we might own a piece of dirt with a building on it, and that's not public property. Public doesn't have the right to go there and just walk around on that property, even though it's city owned. Now a street, on the other hand, the public has the right to go on that. There's two different ideas there. One we own something in fee, and one is actually maybe city owned, but it's owned by the public. Does that make sense? Like a street could be public or a street could be private. A private street is private property owned by that HOA. A public street, anybody has a right to go on that street. And if we have a public lot or owned by the city halls, that dirt that we own is private property owned by the city. The city just happens to be the owner.
Sure. Should we move on to the next question? Question 3 is finding parcels by APN, or it's actually find tool to find what is something all parcels have in common? There is a unique search area. So, Cash, can you go over question 3? Hello, Cash. Cash.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
My Bluetooth went off. So yeah, so the third question, what is a good unique ID? So we use the find tool, but what is a good unique ID that all parcels have in common? What unique ID would be good to use to find a parcel using the find tool?
An address or an APN.
Okay, yep, APN was what I was going to go with, and that was my assessment there of the data would be the APN number. So we want to search in the APN field. So down there, yeah.
Go to parcels.
Parcels under parcel fabric.
Now, if you knew it was a tax parcel, you can directly go to the tax parcel layer and look for it. But if you were not sure, then you would search in the parcels, which is the general layer. Now,
I don't think that one. Go back
that's
to
the
end.
text. Yeah, that's the text field you're looking for. The A is for text. So look for the one that looks like a polygon. So those are all annotations.
You know, that symbol almost looks like California Pizza Kitchen when you're looking from it from afar.
So keep going up, go up, go up, 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 up a little more. Keep going. Keep going. Go up. Same layers we've been working in. Keep going.
Yeah, there you have the, yeah,
There.
say for example, you're looking in a tax parcel, you know it's a tax parcel, you can click that. And then instead of, yeah, you choose the field APN from there.
I think it's towards the bottom.
It's towards the bottom.
You can also look at the name field. The name field will give you the APN.
Okay, so it's under name as well. That's all right.
Okay, and then in the
So if you go to name, you go APN. APN is one way, and then you can go name. Name will show you the APN as well.
okay, so to start typing in the value there that you're looking for, an APN that you're looking for. Does anybody have an example?
125631213.
That was quick.
631.
So you can just see the drop down. Just pick any one of those ones in the drop down.
And then you
And
can
right
double
click on
click it or right click.
If you say find, it's going to be finding everything that may have that string there. So the longer your string, the better defined it is. So
How about 231.040.003?
okay. So what you see there right now is that you were able to zoom to that specific parcel, right? So while you're at that, so the question number 3, the the unique ID field that you will search parcels by is APN typically. So that would be a good answer to do that, to put in for your question number 3. Okay, while you're here, you can even search by street intersection. So you can go on locations tab there and then maybe search by a specific address if you wanted to here. So type in a street intersection there. You hit the find button. You have a lot of matches that might come up. And yeah, that's how you can go to that. Zoom out a little bit and you can see the, okay. So that was question 3.
It was. So if we're ready for question 4, so APN would be the answer for question 3. And then question 4, which parcel subtype defines a subdivision boundary or tract?
-3.
That's correct.
How would I how would I show 3 in the type field within the table?
There we go.
If I don't want to see city-owned parcel, how do I show it to be 1? Oh, so you're doing negative. You could just go 3. Type 3 is a tract.
Yeah.
Type 3 is a tract, but then there's such a thing as a -3 for a map because you can have multiple.
Yeah, but you can also have a -1 and a -2 then too.
Yeah.
And a -4. So -3, yep, that could pick up all your tract maps that were a -3, but it's not going to grab your 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, 6, 7, 8, whatever, or no tract numbers. But if you do a type equal type to be 3, then it's going to grab all your tract maps. So instead of find 3, so it's going to grab everything in the 3. So TR3 476. What you want is find the tract number. I mean, this could be a way if you wanted to figure out, okay, I know it has a 3 in it. This would be, I'm looking for TR1234-5 is what you would type and find in tract map in field tract number. If you have a tract number, that's what you would really type it. Or MB if you wanted to look for a map book. Or I guess map books would that be in parcel map?
PMB, parcel map book.
Look for PM. Oh, you got in-field tract number? All field.
So this brings us to question number 4, I believe. Which parcel subtype defines a subdivision boundary or a tract?
3.
3. Yeah.
Okay. So good answer. You can mark it in your workbook, and once you're done with this, we'll look at the coordinate systems. Cash?
So what spatial coordinate systems, horizontal and vertical, do the cadastral data and cadastral MXD use? So there's a few ways to find this information, and you could go to either the catalog, and you could right-click on the parcel fabric and go to properties and go to general. Oh, we're not in catalog. Hit cancel. Sorry about that. Go to your data frame there on the left, where it says layers in your table of contents at the top, and then right click and then go to property. Right where it says layers, there you go. And go to properties. And right below there where it says current coordinate system,
Yeah.
NAD 1983, State Plane, California, FIPS 0406. So it's already listed there below in current coordinate system. So if you scroll down, there's your geographic coordinate system down there, which is a GCF, North American 1983. So this, if you scroll up, you have your projected coordinate system, which is the State Plane, California. So, and it's in U.S. feet, foot U.S. So this is how you identify your coordinate system that your data is in. So sometimes if you ever have alignment issues, I mean, you shouldn't in this environment, but there's times when you'll notice that you can have alignment issues with your data. And if you always come here and go to coordinate system, you'll notice you can compare different layers and make sure that they're all same coordinate system.
Right. It's especially going to happen if you got a CAD drawing from somebody else and you bring it in and it's not lining up. You know, you most likely that CAD drawing is in a different coordinate system. Okay, so things like that is where this plays in mostly. Otherwise, you're all working in the same coordinate system and it wouldn't be any different. Okay, any questions on this?
No.
No.
Okay. There's other ways to look at your coordinate system, and that's on the catalog too. And in catalog, you can go to the feature dataset level. There, it's definitely mentioned. So if no other questions, then we can move to the next one. Okay, wait a second. There's a challenge question there. What are the coordinate systems, horizontal and vertical, for other datasets in the city? So if you want to see the other datasets, go to the other big catalog window that you have down there, Doug. At the bottom of your screen and the taskbar, the Arc Catalog window, the Arc Catalog button.
That one?
This one here. Yeah. Yeah, so go to any other data sets that you may have in the city, right click and then see. But before you do that, go to Cadastral itself on the top, the Cadastral data set. Yeah, click there, right click. And then you can go to Properties. And then you have the XY coordinate system. And then you have the Z coordinate system. Okay, so this is consistent though, I believe, across all of your data sets. They can technically be defined separately, but you have all of your data so that when you overlay like the storm data and the water data, they're all going to be lining up. They're all the same. Okay, if you want to cancel and look at maybe the storm data, scroll up a little bit and what's the other data sets? Maybe you have building safety data set. I am not sure about that. I haven't seen that before in the sense that I haven't actually looked at what coordinate system, but if you go to properties, right, they're all the same coordinate system. Okay.
That was a good check. That was a good check. Because a lot of times they can be in different coordinate systems. And CAD data, a lot of CAD data, the coordinate system's not defined sometimes. There's no defined coordinate system whatsoever. So you have to define a coordinate system and then project the data.
Right. As long as everything in your is in your geodatabase, Ted and Ken have, I think, made sure that you use the same coordinate system for all your data, right?
Almost all of our maps come in on their own basis of bearing, so they're not on that kind of coordinate system.
Correct. And we have the workflow to work on that one. Correct.
Yeah.
We agree. Yeah. Okay. Then let's look at question number 6. What feature classes participate in parcel fabric?
Control, line points, lines, parcels, plans, and points.
Correct. What cadastral feature classes have topology rules? How would you find that
Topologies.
out?
I
How
would
can
think
you?
parcel fabric parcels would be the only one with topology rules.
As a matter of fact, it would be, but we added a few more, so it may come. So as a so if you look in the cadastral and we go to something called topology, which is right here. Okay. Right click, properties. So you came up with some rules for topology, and we have all those rules. These are the feature classes that participate. So when the question came up on what are the feature classes, these are all the feature classes, starting from address points to the street tick mark. Okay, so all of them participate in the topology rules, and the rules themselves are here listed. They must not have gaps or must cover each other. So there's different kinds, contains point. So each one of these rules are over here. Okay. So all of the rules that we got from you, they have been implemented over here. So this is the topology. But then when you look at parcel fabric, it's a unique thing, and Cash will talk more about it, but it's got its own rules within itself.
Yeah.
In the sense that the points and the lines and the control points, how they work with each other, the parcel polygons, that's all within here inbuilt.
Yeah,
It's not in.
that comes built in
Go
with
ahead.
the parcel fabric. So it has its own set of rules that come with it, which it's things like parcels must not overlap. Parcels must close. Um, there must be control points. There's certain rules in the parcel fabric, which are your default rules that you would expect um, in a connectivity model such as the parcel fabric.
And you can't change them. They're built into the software.
Exactly. You can't. They're built in. So that's why creating a separate topology is very helpful with a lot of the other data that you'll work with, because then you can actually customize your topology outside of the fabric. But you can still include the fabric as well, those default rules as well.
Right. And so some of the rules, topology rules that have been built are that the address point should be within the parcel. So that actually takes the parcel fabric and the address points and builds a rule between them. Now, if you were to think about the answer 7, it's going to be a long list there of all the feature classes that participate in the the topology rules. Going to question number 8, the minimum scale of the layers. So how will you find that out? So let's go to the MXD for a second.
Yeah.
So as you zoom out of your map,
I really like the symbology you guys applied here. I think it
it
looks
is
really slick.
there's slight differences when it comes to the the latest one. We had to change up a little bit, but it's going to be mostly the same. So like right now you see here, as you keep on zooming out, then there is layers that show up, and then there's layers that disappear. Okay. um, so how you know which layer, which scale range that they show up? As you zoom out, you see up there all the way on the top of your screen, that number is changing. It went from 10,000 to 12,500. You zoom out further, you're at 15,000. You see that number changing, right? So at one point, the parcels disappear, and then they appear when you zoom in again. Okay, so how do you know at which level they start showing up? Is on the layer itself, give a right click in the table of contents. So go to parcels, for example, or any of those layers. That's okay. Just can look at properties. No, that's for setting it. Yeah, go to properties and then go to general. Okay, so this layer here is showing up at all scales. Now we changed it. We changed it in the latest MXD that we're giving you. But if you can, here it says do not show layer when zoomed, and you can set the scale over there. Okay, now if you cancel this out and go to any of the parcel layers, you should find that set on the parcel polygon layers.
Keep going down, part of the parcel fabric or lower or below. There you go. And then properties there.
Yeah,
There you go.
24. So at 24,000, we set them to be, turning on. There's a slight difference in the latest MXD. We have made a few changes, but we didn't want to. We will go to the latest MXD in a minute. Now, the question is, does everybody want to take a brief break?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep, that'll work.
So maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. How much does everybody want?
Yeah.
I'd say 10 minutes.
Okay. So we
10
meet back at
minutes.
2. We meet back at 2:30 to start with the
Perfect.
next exercise. We're going to go straight up to exercise 4. Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, we meet at 2:30. So that that was exercise 4 where we will fix the broken links. So we have an MXD with broken links that we would like you to copy from the server location and then fix it. Okay. So if you go to that same location where the videos and meetings previously that you had, does anybody?
M Drive GIS videos from
Yes,
from DCSE,
right.
and
I'll just
then
make. Can you show that screen to us for a second? Okay, Cadastral. Okay, there's a version 4 in there. That's great. So copy that version 4. Okay. Quick question. I don't know if Adam's on here or not, but something about deleting that. It needs to be the version would or should have been deleted. So let's go and paste that MXD on your C projects.
one GIS Cadastral.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where'd you get that version for?
Go into the M Drive. Go into GIS videos from DCSE, Cadastral. Copy that. Go to your C drive, one GIS Cadastral, and paste it in.
Okay, so
Do we need to open up the Cadastral 107 version 4?
Can you please open that version 4?
Okay, so what should I do with what I have open now?
You can close it.
Just file, exit,
Exit. Yeah.
save changes?
Don't need to. You didn't make any changes as far as symbology or anything is concerned, so.
So then I can go.
So think of it like you're going to have ability to save editing and save changes to your MXD. Both different.
File new, connect to folder. Now, once I get to Cadastral, it's in this folder here.
Yeah. You can actually, I mean, just go and open that file from from your Windows Explorer.
And then drag and
You
drop
can
it.
just double click it. You don't need to open it from here. Yeah, just double click it. The last time we showed you one way of doing things, which was in the catalog window, and I believe that was in the pre-training. Today, we want to show you another way of doing it, which is you open up that MXD, and then we'll go from there.
And note if there's a lot of exclamation points, your open speeds will be slower.
Yeah. Much slower.
I still can't get my M drive.
Can't get what?
My M drive.
Do you not have the M drive on your?
No, last time I just it wasn't showing up for whatever reason, and then
I can email it to you.
I went backspace.
Are you on SecureLink?
No, I'm here at the office.
You don't see the M drive? Just go into a file folder and type in / rc-arc ARCGIS, so rc-arcgis /GIS data.
Or you can just pull that one out of the email I sent you.
Yeah, you can do this.
//
You see that? / RC ArcGIS.
You got to remember that those of us in other departments don't have the control that you guys got.
And then so you got the / RC. Well, you guys all have access to this. So, and if you ever deal with image services, you want to deal with UNC paths. RC-ArcGIS /GIS data. Now, GIS video is just one in. So then it's.
Cash, can you show your screen, please? I may send you another MXD. Just hang on. Sorry. Cash?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, can you please make yourself the presenter? I mean, I made you the presenter, but can you share your screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Looks like I'm just connected here.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys open that version 4 MXD?
I did.
Okay.
Did you
Look
get it
and
open?
open it.
What they want you to do, Esmond, is to copy it to your C drive.
Yeah, it's already there. I copied it over from Doug's email because for whatever reason it keeps removing the M drive from my computer because I had it and then it just keeps. I don't know what's going on. I have all the other drives. Mine is the M drive.
So Ken, you should turn off your script to remove the M drive from Esmond's computer.
Well, that would be nice.
Your little practical joke you've been running for the last 6 months.
Thank you, Ken.
You should probably reach out to help desk and say, hey, I'm having a problem. My M drive keeps disappearing. But if it does, you just do that //arc-arcgis, and then you can map it yourself as your M drive.
Backslash.
Is that 10.7.1? Or is that 2.7.3?
Yeah. Or it's actually 3.211225.
Good times.
Oh,
good
wait.
times.
Hey, Ken's not responding because I just saw him walking.
Cash, are you able to log in?
So I need to re-log in. Does somebody want to temporarily be the participant?
Can you close X on that, Cash?
Yeah.
And then go to your web browser and click on it again. Click on the map 2 again.
Thanks, Martha.
Okay, I was trying to break the link. It seems like the version that it pointed to wasn't like broken, sort of. So we'll have to go and break the link and
There's 2. Okay. So we're back.
Yeah, go to the versions and then delete that version.
actually, before you delete the version, let's just make a random version here. 1 second. Let me, yeah, I'm trying to see if I can get keyboard and mouse. Okay. Yeah, let me create a just created a random version. You're on version 3 here, right?
Yes.
Okay, let me open up that version 4.
I think it's in.
Here it's called the repair links, Harita. The 4 is called repair links.
This one was never sent to.
Yeah, this is the one. This when we pasted it to the server on the reverse side, it's called 4.
Oh.
But the links were not broken.
Yeah, that I'm not sure
Okay.
why it's still remembering.
No. Okay, then which version? Okay, that's why I said we'll probably give them a new MXT.
So I just did what you guys did. I took the version 0 that you guys had and assigned it to a version, deleted the version, reopened it, and it still had connection to the version, even though the version didn't exist. Where I opened up an MXT while the map was already. Basically, I had to do a clean 100% reopen on an MXT so that the version, for some reason, would lose access.
You know, that's what must have happened right now too. It apparently, I think that's what happened. But let's actually make sure that that's the case, because we're hoping to break the link so it's easier to remap the MXT. So It's taking a while. Maybe on our side, it's it kind of got broken, but on where it went to.
And for Doug and Esmond, you're going to work at times with these exclamation points that meaning you can't see the data. So you got to learn how to repair your data sources. And that's what they're going to show you.
Okay.
I'm pretty convinced that this is one of those MXTs. It's broken. So let me copy the. Let me see.
So that's not a situation where we just call Ted?
No,
No.
that's a situation where you can fix it yourself. So that's why we're trying to show you.
So,
You only call Ted on left.
so what you're saying is we just call Ted.
No.
All right, let's get a hard note in red. Call Ted.
Let me see.
I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, you got Esmond.
How
Double check
should we
that.
copy this data, last
Okay.
Call Ted.
Yeah, just copy to here too. Make it 4.
Call Ted.
No, it's not version. I'm trying to copy this thing called repair links. Where does this go?
This is the location, Cadastral.
Really?
Yeah. No, we already copied it to the drive already.
So where is the drive?
The DCSE folders. Yeah. There's another Explorer open. Go there. Yeah. Then to the left, navigate. Scroll down maybe. Oh, okay. Okay, it's not there because it's the different profile, right? Okay, let me go to the chats. Go to the chats on the chat window. Ted posted the link. Can you
Okay, got it.
get that? There you see from DCSE on the left side.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
that's the one. Now go into Cadastral.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me paste this. I don't know why it's kind of behaving differently, but if the links are not broken, then we'll have to do it the other way, like Doug was originally trying to do in our catalog. So let's switch to Doug's PC. And yes, so Doug, if you can start showing your screen and then copy that other MXD. Hopefully the links are broken on that one, but I'm not sure. Yes, copy the one that says, refresh that screen. Yeah, Cadastral. The one that says repair links, can you copy that, please? And yeah, open that one now. Double click it and open.
Are there issues with having multiple versions open? Is that going to slow it down, or does it? Do I
Nope.
need to? Not the
It
problem.
doesn't. It shouldn't be a problem. I mean, I would keep one MXD open, but it's okay to have more than one. And the longer it takes, the more troubles we have. But it's okay. We're learning now. So this is what we're trying to show you. You will have some MXDs that come along your way like this.
Yeah, and if you open up an MXD that's just vanilla to an MXD, the performance isn't going to be super quick. If you're in an untitled empty MXD and you open up an MXD into that empty MXD, the performance will be faster.
Okay.
So did anybody go to DuoCon on Saturday?
No.
Yeah, everybody. Is there anybody heard of Duolingo? It's a app on.
That's a learning app, language learning.
It's a language app. They had a conference on Saturday.
Oh wow!
A free conference.
Was it online?
It was. I didn't go to it. I just found out about it just now.
I used the app, learned a little bit of Spanish, but not much.
Yeah. Me too. I tried to learn like Italian before I went to Italy. Yep.
Have the Rosetta Stone, but it's so, I mean, it's too hard to open up the DVD box and all that. But this is a phone app, so it's kind of easy.
Now you just put your translate on and have the people talk into your phone. Then you talk to them that way. You know?
Yeah, this is taking long because hopefully the links are broken in this.
Yeah, that should be the normal behavior you'll see with broken links. And Doug has the slowest machine in Cadastral, so.
Weakest link, Ted.
He is. He's the weakest link. But I think they're gonna. Everybody's supposed to get new laptops. I think, right?
That's the
According to
rumor.
Ted.
I think if you're on SecureLink and you don't have a laptop, you're supposed to get a laptop. But what we've done is we've put a squash to some of that. If you're a GIS user, you're not going to get the laptops they're giving out right now. Because I can't vouch for the power. The power are probably equivalent to what Ken and I have right now, which stink. Well, you know what? They're okay. For doing SDE reconciles, they're not very good. But for doing some things, you can move around fine with the computers we have.
Yeah, we're not sure how long this is going to take. Hopefully sooner than later. But I also wanted to let you know that before we did any of these documentations or anything like that, we have videos for each of the workflows that Cash has come up with. He explains in detail how each of the workflows work. So we'll be giving you those videos also in addition to this training videos. Okay.
That's perfect.
That's
Doug,
great. So what we're doing is we're taking everything, we're uploading it to YouTube.
No.
No.
Confidential.
They're not public. They're unlisted, but it's for Doug and Esmond when they're at home.
Okay. Well, I didn't want you to publish them on YouTube.
It's gonna be funny if I see myself on YouTube one day.
We try to keep everything like kind of off the grid for stuff, but we need to do that so that when people are not in the office, they have a way to keep training, keep working on it. And it doesn't. And they can stream it. They can push it off to an Apple TV or cast it to a Chromecast. See it on their big 75-inch monitor, and learn how to do data reviewer.
There we go.
Yeah, the easier it is to learn, the better it is. More accessibility with YouTube. I agree. Esri has a lot of videos on YouTube. You can cancel that out.
While we are waiting, I have a question on the workflow. Do you have the address parcels first and then do the address point, or you have the center line first? Which one comes first in the workflow?
When we're putting in addresses, the parcels will already be created. So whether it's a track map or parcel map going in, we will draft up the entire map. And then one of the last things we'll do is put the addresses in. If it's an existing address and somebody's putting a second house on it or an ADU or something like that, then all of that will be drafted and we'll just be dropping a point in there with the address. So two different workflows. One's at the very end of drafting a tract. We go through and put the information we know, and then we drop the addresses on there if the addresses are created, which usually they are with tract maps and parcel maps.
Okay, thank you. Because I'm trying to see from which feature I have to grab the attributes from. So in this case, I grab the address information from the parcel to the point.
Now, will that, before that tract map or parcel map is reconciled, will that information be created, or will that have to be saved and reconciled and then have to come back through and put the parcels in there? Or I mean the addresses in there?
Yeah, as long as it's, it happens while you edit, while you start putting the point, it will grab it from the parcel if parcel has it. Okay. Yeah, we'll show more on the next training, but I just wanted to know so I point to the right layers. Okay.
Okay, so good news is that this did work as expected. Like you have all those broken links. And so that means that you need to now point it to the right data set and you'll be able to, fix all of them together. Fix one layer and fixes most of your layers, okay? What you need to do is on the right side, if you're connecting to your data, come to the table of contents, give a right click on the table of contents inside the MXD. So go to the left side and go to maybe the tie point. Give a right click on the tie point. Go to repair. Wait a second. Why don't you see the data sources? Data. Yeah, go to data button. Repair data source. And then it's not in reference. So go up one level in the data sources and go to the database and then go to Cadastral. And find that layer, which is the tie point, and say
right.
add. Now wait for some more time while it kind of processes all of your layers together at the same time. It realized, oh, we've found one layer that matches, let's fix it for all the layers.
And most of the time, if all of your data in your table of contents is connected to the same geodatabase, well, especially the same data set, it should repair all of those layers.
Got it.
However, if you have data pointing to different databases, you might have to go and repair one layer out of each database for it to reconnect them all.
Yes, so this is what it shows you right now. You are, you have them all fixed, right? So save it, do a save as, and call it something else you would like to. You can call it repaired or, fixed. Yeah, that sounds good. Save it. Now, once you have this, because it's going to remember your Windows authentication, now you can send it to anybody else, like Eswin or Ted, and they'll be able to open it up and they can see this. Now, I would like you to zoom out a little bit. And so as we zoom in and out, you will find different layers come up. Let me do this a little. So as you see, we have some numbers showing up. I think some of those layers were there. That's why. Okay, that group layer was turned off. Okay, so there's grouping in your MXD, right? I'll quickly go over your MXD and then we'll switch to the workflows. Okay, so this MXD has groupings. One is for all the annotations grouped together. The other one is the cadastral points. Next one is the cadastral line. And then you have the parcel fabric. And then below that, there's a group for parcels, which let me expand that node a little bit. And those are your city owned. So we took the same parcels that are up there and then categorized them as a group here for each of those, and including like historic parcels. And the next one, so the query here, if I go to the properties, you've seen this definition query before. But what we're saying is it's not historical, but it's type 3. So that's the difference in the last MXD and this one. So you can change the queries if you wanted to, but we thought that this made sense, that these are not historical parcels and they are type 3. Okay. So as you keep zooming in, so these are the annexations and you see the city boundary, right? As you keep zooming in, you will find different layers show up. The symbology is slightly different from the last MXD. Okay, and if you want to, you can change the levels and you can change the scaling. We'd like to, keep consistent. So if you can tell us what changes, we will make them though. And then you can always, use that MXD as a standard. You keep one MXD as a standard. Okay. The other thing is that there is this cadastral reference layers down here. Okay, which we can turn on and off, but we had so much information show up that we thought that some of them did not look like they were, like for example, if I turn on the base map annotation, you will see another layer of, annotation show up right underneath there. So that's why I actually turn it off. Okay. So that's why we also had to turn off the cadastral reference, because it was like, you see the way these other parcel lines show up there. I think there may be the county layers. Yep. So that's the county layers there.
Yeah, that should be. This is an old copy of the parcel layer from the county, and I know they're trying to implement the city boundaries inside of their data.
Mm-hmm.
It's a side project, and it was part of my team, not part of the maintainers. Then they're trying to bring that data into where the maintainers are maintaining the parcels. So that background should start to align when we go out to get the new cut of parcels.
Okay. Yeah, for now, I mean, I can turn off those layers. Any other layers you feel like noise, you can turn it off. But for now, I'm just turning off this entire, if you feel like you need, you can always turn it on. Okay. So for sake of like keeping things clearer right now, we just turn those off. And so that's what we have as far as like, you can see the addresses and everything. And as we keep zooming out, things will disappear more and more. And as you keep zooming back in, then they will show up. And those little briefcases are your document links. It is called the legal document point. Okay. Any questions on this so far?
No.
Okay.
Wait,
Espen, were you?
yeah, I'm sorry. Mine doesn't look like that. And I'm thinking I attached to the wrong one because I'm able to see certain things, but.
Can we shift to your screen? Switch to your screen?
Sure.
Okay. No, it does actually show that new symbology that we have. So zoom
Okay.
closer and you will see things, and zoom out, you will see. But is there anything missing in your data yet?
I think that there's groups in here, right, that I'm missing, and that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, it's a good question. See here, up here, there's different in the table of contents, on the top button, right below table of contents.
Okay.
One more up, that one, that shows your groups.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what I
So
was.
that's a good thing to look at, because that's your group layer view. I mean your layer view. Okay, it shows you the different layers and how the groups are arranged and everything. But if you click on the next button, it's a source view. It tells you
Okay.
what's your data source, what's your data set, and all that. Your tables never show up in your layer view because they're not really layers, but your tables do show up in your source view. If you look at the bottom, there's the CAD street plan key file, and then there's the dynamic value. Those are tabular data sets. Okay.
Okay.
Then if you click on the other column there, okay, so layers by visibility, it will show you which layers are visible, which layers are not. As you see down there, it says, oh, those are visible layers, and then they're out of scale range, and then not visible. As you keep zooming in and out, those will change. Then the next one, if you keep going to the right, there's a button with the, yeah, that one shows you which ones are selectable and which ones are not selectable. We intentionally turned off selection on some layers, so if you keep scrolling down, on the table of contents, you will see that some are not selectable. And
Okay.
because we didn't want confusion when you select like a zillion things show up, so we turned off selection of some of those layers. Keep going up, back to where you saw that table of contents thing. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and there's the last button there, one more button, and then
Options.
there is the options, right? So those are some preferences for the table of contents, and the layer orders and all those kind of things. Okay.
Okay. Sounds
So
good.
we can cancel that one, right? So go back, and that's what you have, basically. Okay?
Okay. Cool.
Okay, I think we finished exercise 4, but that doesn't mean we're going to skip exercise 3 too, right? So the reason why we went to exercise 4 is that it's the broken MXD link one. Now we finished that one, so now we are ready to do the exercise 2, which is merge attract using parcel fabric toolbar. So for that, I think Cash, since you
Yeah,
already
sure.
have on there, you're going to do
Mhm.
this. So let's switch to Cash as the presenter. He will demonstrate, and um, then we do it on Doug's and Eswin's or any one of your PCs. Okay,
Yeah, sure. So we can do it on any of these. If you guys want to make me the presenter,
we made you the presenter.
sure. Okay. So MXD wise, we want to open up. We could keep the same one and just repair the data source.
You have repaired the links, right, already?
No, not on this one.
Okay. Can you go to another layer?
Yeah, let's see. Let's
Like
try.
the address point on the top. Mm, address point.
There we go.
Okay. Um, fix this MXD. It's going to take a minute or two, but I would like to actually go over the PowerPoint. So can you open up the PowerPoint, Cash?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay. So before we go into the editing portions, okay, let's go all the way a few more up, few more slides up. I want to go over the versioning workflow for you. Okay. Um,
That's a great idea.
just want to make sure you got the basics of the versioning process down.
Okay.
Okay. Cash, do I have keyboard and mouse from you?
Let me make sure. Looks like you do.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
me. Okay, so we were until this slide, we looked at all of your data. We looked at the topology rules, right? We looked at your MXD features. Um, as we go, we'll find a few more things that we can, when we're in the training, we'll see a few more things if you missed it over here. But basically, we looked at the toolbars, feature templates, we'll start looking at them. But here's the workflow. It seems like a little bit overwhelming when you look at this in the first place. So let's just walk through this a little step by step here. There's one here when you start off the editing, and we have different color boxes. The blue boxes are what the editors will work on. The green boxes are what the ITGIS will work on. And if you look at this workflow, you have to have a source data ready. For reference, it could be an as-built redline, or actually in your case, it will be one of your track maps, any of your sources where you will start editing your parcels based on, right? Um, you will identify a neighborhood and project name, and then in our catalog, you have to figure out if anybody else started working in the same neighborhood. If they have, then you'll have to ask them what they're doing there, because you don't want to have a conflict in that area. Okay. So then let's assume that nobody else is working on that same area. Then you create a version which is neighborhood underscore your project name, neighborhood name underscore project name underscore your initials. Okay. Then you open up your editing MXD, you check the toolbars and everything, and then you change to that version, you switch to that version. Okay. When you switch to your version that you created, then you start editing. All of these are starting your edit, saving your edits, and then reconcile version and refresh version. And then you do something called the quality control process, which could be data reviewer checks, validating your topology, those kind of things. And then after that whole thing is done, you say you're ready. So right now I'm just putting it an email there. You have an automated workflow that could be coming up soon. Uh, Basically letting ITGIS know that you're done with your edits and the quality control. Then ITGIS performs quality control, and if they don't find any errors, then they post it to the default version, and then you go back and switch your MXD to the default version, and then ITGIS will delete the version. If not, if there are any errors found, then they ask you to fix the errors. Then you have a round of, you fix the errors, and then you do the quality control, and then it kind of goes in the loop. Okay.
Yeah, at some point, we'll probably build this more as a like a macro level workflow, but we probably won't start that until editing is done. Because I
Right.
got to show the GS team how to do workflow manager.
Right. Right. So it's going to be automated a little bit. At least you don't need to then send an email. It automatically at the press of a button, Ted will know that, hey, you finished those edits or something like that. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
basically, you push a button, and then an email will get sent to the research station down in Antarctica that's monitoring penguins. And then they'll actually, it will then go from that station back to the outback in Australia. And then after that, it will land on my desktop or something like that. It will go all over the world, basically. What you guys do right here, right now. That's how important what you guys are working on is. That's how important it is, Doug. And
Finally, we get the respect we deserve.
Yeah.
okay. So that's the versioning workflow. Should I go to the next one? Okay, avoiding conflicts. So we are not saying not to edit in the same. We are trying to avoid conflicts in the beginning of editing. That means in the first few days of your editing, we want to make sure that Eswin and Doug, that you're editing in separate areas. Maybe you choose west side of the city, east side of the city, or north side. So kind of like work in disparate, like separate geographic areas. Because when you start editing and you're editing the same exact feature, like the same exact parcel, then things can get complicated when it comes to versioning. So in the beginning, at least, separate it out. But later on, you're going to be having these things called, you might edit the same feature, and then it will say something about conflicts and dealing with conflicts. But it's not really at this point your headache. It will be the ITGIS to look into these conflicts and resolve them. Okay, and
No,
we're
we're
going to
not going
be
to have any. We're not going to have any conflicts with something that possibly planning's doing. Our cadastral is our cadastral, and that's separate. So it's basically just going to be Eswin and I working on the cadastral portion, correct?
correct. Your conflicts are not with uh, other data sets. It's if Eswin and you are working on the same parcel, let's say, or on
And
the same tract.
yeah, we're not going to have to worry about that.
Okay, so that's the thing we're trying to avoid in the first few days.
Okay.
After that, everybody is kind of like comfortable with this whole versioning setup and everything, and slowly, things will be okay. So this is the instructions for before you start editing. Identify the neighborhood, coordinate with the other editors and versions, create your version, open editing MXD, and then check the toolbars, navigate to the project area, and switch to your new version and start editing. So that's the basic steps for starting your editing. Okay, and then there is something called editor tracking. We'll show these to you but you don't have to really do anything about it. It's already set up for you. Okay, that means that whoever edits a feature will know who has done the last edit on it, or who's created the new parcels there. We will know that automatically. Okay, we just talked about the broken links here. Now next, Cash will show you how to merge the parcels. Okay, so Cash, go ahead.
Sure, sure. Okay, everyone. So let's have fun and merge a few parcels. I'm going to go to the list by drawing order.
Cash, can you make this maximize your that screen? Which, yeah, that will be better.
Is this a little bit better, or do we want to
Yeah,
go?
it's good. It's good. Thank you.
Okay, sure. So let's merge a few parcels and zoom in to maybe 1 in 24, I believe, or 1 in 10 is when they turn on. I believe they turn on at 1 in 24. So let's find a couple parcels. Here we are. So I'm going to turn annotations off because sometimes it gets messy dealing with annotations, even the cadastral point at times. When I'm working with parcel data, you can turn the lines off, but you don't have to, so we'll leave them on. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to get your parcel editing toolbar, parcel editor. And we want to start editing. Might take a minute. Okay, so it looks like there's a lock on here, perhaps.
Lata, do you know anything about that?
No.
Okay, that's okay. We can continue. Why did you say stop?
Where's the this is the old one still pointing to the same version, right?
Okay, Cash, can you show us which version you're looking at right now? And can you
We're on.
stop editing? Make sure you're in the right version. So, can you go to the MXD?
Yeah, let's go back in the data sources.
Right. Okay, so there is a version called parcel_edit that we are using, and that's fine. So now you can cancel this out, and then you can start editing. And it takes a minute for that thing to initialize. Don't worry about this message right now. And then this one will tell you that there are some layers that you cannot edit. Obviously, the reference layers you cannot edit.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Aretha. So the parcel editor toolbar here is where you want to create your plan, your new plan. So the first thing you would do is go to plan directory. That's if you have a new plan. In most cases, you're not going to be using an existing parcels plan, but it's happened in the past in other states and places. So let's just create a new plan, and we can list it by today. I find using in the plan directory, it's very beneficial for me when I'm working with a lot of different plans every single day to just go with what you're working on today. Sometimes you may need to search a plan by a query, and you can use any of these fields. For instance, let's just do company, like, and then you can get the unique values of the company, or we can even do surveyor. You could do like, you can do, let's say surveyor is, and then
You're using company. Yeah, there you go. Got to use surveyor.
Yeah, surveyor. Surveyor is, and then we want to get those unique values if there are any. But a lot of times you'll have all the different names here, and you'll be able to query only for that. But the easiest way to do it is list by today if you're creating new plans, right? Then you just want to create your new plan. You could call this, merge parcel. Normally it would be like MB, your normal plan. And then here you can change any of your default values, your directions and distances, your circular curves. You might want to change the radius and chord length to radius and arc length. I do that sometimes depending on the meets and bounds. I rarely use radius and central angle. I use this as a default. And then the circular curve direction, obviously chord, tangents, and radials. I just leave it on chord. And then we go over to corrections, and I don't do anything here. I leave the default in corrections. And then over here is where you would want to, the name will populate once we hit apply. The new name that we just entered over here, merge parcel, that will automatically populate once you hit apply here. But if you want to give it a description or add some attributes here, surveyor, company, any of the stuff, guys. Okay, and then we just want to hit apply. I didn't add anything new other than the plan name. So we'll hit OK. And then we have merge parcel there. So if you right click on it, you have some options here. You can go back to the properties again if you decided, okay, I got the survey date now. But usually these are on the plans anyway. And you can go to close. Now here we've created the plan. So then we're going to open the parcel details dialog. And if you click on a parcel, just select a parcel. Okay, so we should be able to edit the plan here and be able to change the plan to make it default. So it looks like that's not happening. Let's go back to the plan directory. And we should normally have an option here that would say set as default, set plan as default. Not showing up. We could try this. We could try to create a new parcel. Even though we're merging two, let me go ahead and hit clear. We could go to new parcel. And right here, where it says plan, you can choose your plan. So here's let's say it said MB1234. There's our plan. We want to set that as the active plan. So it's not allowing it here either. There we are. Okay. So we're back in the plan directory after we created a new parcel. And today is what we're looking at. We select merge parcel and then set as active plan. That should take care of that. Now we want to just select the two parcels. So there's the first one. Well, for some reason, it's not allowing us to select these parts. Normally, parcel select's fine. Okay.
Can you check and make sure that they're selectable?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they are selectable. Let me check. They are turned on. What we could do is stop editing and then start editing again. But yeah, this is interesting that they're not selecting.
I had something that came up when I was testing this. It was that if you had your version created under default, you were able to edit, but if you created it under training default, I was not able to edit. It's something I just wanted to shed now.
I've seen the same behavior. It's weird.
Okay,
What's
so
that, Pat?
let's make sure that the version that we're editing is under default and not training default for now.
Yeah, try that. I've tried it under training default, could not get that thing to work at all, and then I was just like, okay, I'll wait till the expert is here.
Here's what I'll do. Can I quickly check
Yeah.
something here? Okay. So here, I mean, there were some issues with editing, okay? I just want to let you know. When you have a version that's under default versus version that's under training default, then that was the problem. So let me go here and see where that version is belonging to that we were connecting right now. So if you go to the,
Administration.
yeah, I'll go to the administration and look at it. Tree view. So this new version that we created, right? It's probably, I am not sure. Is it part of this? Oh, there it is. It's under this. So we're good. It should allow you to. That was one problem that I had run into. Why don't we show anyway, like how to create the versions and everything, right? So let's stop editing for a second. And let's do the versioning part here. Make sure that you have your versioning toolbar on, right? So you can go to the version manager, look at it in the tree view, and you can make a new version. That's the version name, and we make it protected. Not make it public, not private, but protected. There's different, like when you say public, then it means that everybody can see. Private means nobody else can see. Protected means only you can edit. Well, public means that everybody else can too. So let's, after creating that version, you'll have to change to that version. So you can, there's another way, there's a shortcut, but here you can change the version like this. For me, it's easier to find things in the tree view. Training version. Okay. So it changed. We'll see the version changed. Now go ahead, cache, and see if this will, if you're
Sure.
able to edit.
Thanks, Aretha.
You happen to have
So,
two MXDs open?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you close the other MXT? Both are in edit session, that's why. Okay. You see that message that was popping up on the attribute assistant was probably because of that 2 MXTs in an edit session.
Good catch.
And also not being able to edit. That's
And that will also pop up because you don't have edit rights to the cadastral reference data set.
correct, the reference data set.
Let's try to select a parcel first. Okay, so we do have 2 parcels selected. That's good. So, a parcel selected. I'm going to clear the selected features, and then I want to go to the plan directory and make sure that we're in the merge parcel plan from today. So it looks like we're in a new version, so we're going to create the plan. Call it merge parcel. And of course, any attributes we have, we'll just say OK for now, and then we'll close. And then we'll create the new parcel. And under the plan directory, you want to go back in the parcel details dialog. You'll work in this dialog more than any other dialog with the parcel fabric. Just heads up. So we'll go to the plan directory again from here. We'll click on the merge parcels plan that we just created, and then we'll set as active plan. And now we have our new parcel created, even though it's not technically created yet. We created the plan for the new parcel. So now we can just say, okay, well, we're going to merge this from a new plan, right? We're going to select the parcel. It's not letting us select a parcel at all. Let's try this. We can try to do it without a plan and use an existing parcel as the new parcel. Let's try that part. So we start editing. So in other words, one of these already have a plan associated with them. And we'll hold shift down to select the other parcel. And then we want to right click and then just click merge there. And this will open the merge dialog. And you can change the plan here, or these have an existing plan. You can give the parcel a new name, which preserve attributes from one of the other parcels. You can delete a parent parcel if you check that. But we like to mark them as historic, so we don't really want to delete the parent parcel. So we want to keep the historic archiving going on. So let's click plan and see if we can find our new one. So no, that's not listed. So it wants to use an existing plan. So we're not going to choose another template. So we're going to preserve attributes from, let's say, the newer parcel. And then we can always change them. So once they merge, we want to go and double check and make sure they were marked as historic. Okay, so we have some attributes over here.
You see a lot of those there, and the reason is that all of those are the feature linked annotations and anything else that might come up along with it.
Yeah, we didn't want to change that. So it is marked as historic. You could tell because down here there's our symbology for historic parcels. But if we were to turn this off, some other lines going on here.
Turn off the parcels also for a second. I'll show you what I mean. Turn off the light gray parcels. No, keep the group on. Turn off that parcels up there.
The light gray, you say?
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
So just want to show you the boundaries of the new parcel that got merged. And if you turn on historic parcels down there, you can see that then there is that
There's the
yellow
light.
line showing that there were 2 parcels there.
Yeah. So it did not merge that line, but if we turn off historic parcels, it did merge the tax part, the polygon itself, right?
Can you turn on the annotations, Cash, on the top, cadastral annotations?
Mhm.
Okay. So then again, as you see, you have to do some cleanup on the annotations also as needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Those
Okay.
are not merging together. The annotations there.
They
We
will
did
not.
keep one. They won't. No.
Yeah. I want you to also turn on those lot lines, remember, or maybe zoom in a little bit closer. There you go. So you see that 2 sets of lot lines, and we showed this to you already before, remember, in the meeting. And in the editor's guide, we have given you the process, but you can delete one set and keep the other one. So if you identify, and let me take this. So I'll show you these 2 annotations over here, for example. And it shows you these 2 parcel dimensions, right? Okay, on one of them, the feature ID is null. This is the feature link annotation, but the feature ID is null. And on the other one, the feature ID is filled. So keep the one with the feature ID that's filled and get rid of the other annotation. And that way you're fixing your feature linked annotations also as you go. But if you find something like a custom annotation where you don't want to delete it, then simply go and fill in the feature ID from the line there. So see which line it is, and then you can do it. It's a little bit more, that you can do that, but first we wanted to make sure that you got the basics down, but just wanted to show you that this is also happening with your annotations. Okay, so this is the merging workflow, and I guess my question for you is, when you merge, do you have a plan that do you get a new plan, or do you just merge in the existing plan, or does it depend on a specific situation?
We're going to get, what happens is somebody comes in and says they want to merge that, and so they have to do what's called a lot line adjustment, which allows merger, which turns into a COC. So it's going to be a brand new document that just recorded. So it's going to be a COC or LLA 20 dash some number, and so it's going to be a recently recorded document.
Okay, you will have a new document. So along with that, a new plan then, correct?
Yeah, so when we start with that little plan stuff that he was filling out at the very beginning, then we'll put that lot line adjustment number in there. And that's the plan that we'll use to create this or get rid of that line.
Okay, got it. Does anybody want to try this workflow on their side? Doug,
Eswin can do that. I had to step away for a second because got a little something that came up, but if Eswin wants to do that, that'd be great.
Okay, I'm changing Eswin to be the presenter. And Eswin, if you have an example, that's great. If not, just, this is all your test data as of now. So I think you're fine with editing it. Okay, first things first, version. Have you created a version? Okay, did you notice one thing? It says on the top parent version. You already created a version, seems like, Eswin
Yeah.
test.
It
Okay,
looks
you
like
can
it's
use
good
that.
to go.
Yeah, and you don't want to do it. You don't want to create versions from versions because it's more versions you have to maintain.
Right. So if you're already in a version, then that's good. You don't have to create one more.
Cancel that. Go to the 3 squares where the versioning are. Click on that button. And then click on the tree view when it comes up. if you created a version there, you would basically be creating something like what our training default is, where you'd have a tree aspect. Now that might work if you're doing like what if scenarios, but ultimately it just becomes much more work to deal with. But you've already created a version, so can you switch to it? I assume you already switched to it. So just double click on yep, just double click there. Interesting.
Are you trying
actually, that wouldn't matter. That doesn't. It's private. Set it from private to protected.
Yeah.
Go to the right. See where it says to the right? It says, oh look, you can see view locks. Go
access?
to access to the right. Go to the right. Take your cursor. Go to the right where it says access.
Oh, okay.
Protected. So private means that if I'm DBO, I can see your account. If I'm not DBO, I think I have problems seeing private accounts. So if you create versions as private, then we may run into problems for reconciling your data. Protected means everybody can see your data, but nobody can edit it. That's where really we want you to be around. Only you and Doug right now have access to edit anything in the feature data set of Cadastral anyway. So conceptually, you could have people, you guys could conceptually edit in public, because you guys are the only ones that have edit rights to that feature data set. But at this point, I would prefer to keep everybody in the protected mode, at least until everybody gets comfortable with editing in SDE. In 6 months,
Okay.
a year, maybe we can spread that out and say, okay, certain groups can then, because you don't have edit rights to where Matt Taylor's going to be editing, but Matt Taylor does not have edit rights where you're going to be editing. So conceptually, they can edit your protected version, like he can edit zoning, but he can't edit parcels because he doesn't have right access to your feature data set. That's getting a little complicated.
So do I just double click on this then? Because it still won't let me.
No. So, yeah, just say, yeah, that's weird. My bad. Just close that. Close that, X that out, and then go to your second button in on the table of contents. List by source. Go up, yep, that one, and then right. So you're already there. So you're in Esmond test. That's where you go change. Now, what I would do in the future is play around with. I think it might be the third button in on the versioning toolbar where you create a version and switch to it.
Okay, so I'm gonna just go here, right, and say okay.
And double click. You could double click on the version in there, and that should change it from
Okay.
eVega to Esmond test to eVega 2, or whatever.
Okay. Cool.
Now go click on the third button on the versioning toolbar. Go up. The third one. Oh, that's what is that? Refresh. Okay, never mind. I'm goofing. Click on the one of the second one we told you not to click on.
That one.
Yeah, click on that one. Sorry.
That one will allow you to create a new version. Up there, pick the parent to be the default version because you're creating under the, but you're not able to.
It won't let you. The reason it won't let you connect to the default right now, Esmond, is because you're already connected as eVega test. So it wants to create a version based on eVega test. You'd have to be connected to default to be able to create a version off the default.
Oh, okay, I get you. Okay. So just cancel this, right?
Yeah, you can cancel that and switch to the parent default version if you wanted to, and then create a version of that. So first switch to the version under table of contents, you can switch to the version.
Okay, let's see, 1 second.
Yeah, give a right click on the down there on the database name. Yeah, give a right click and say switch version, change version. And then choose the default version. Yeah, okay, that's good.
So that would be like starting, I'm at default, and then I would go ahead and
create a new version, the
right?
second button. Yeah.
And in here, I would call it whatever I want, right?
Correct.
So can I go LL underscore P12 underscore, or does it take dashes? Can I do a dash?
Yeah, I think there's no restriction as far as I
don't know about dashes, but LL underscore COOL underscore J might work.
Okay, I'm just being more realistic about like, cause that's what we call our cases, like LL-P12- whatever.
Yeah,
Right. So I'm just
yeah,
gonna say
right,
test merger.
right, and then
Right.
make it protected.
Protect it and click the switch box right below it. Yep. Then you'll
Exactly.
switch right into it.
Yep.
Okay. So let's see if it has any trouble with the dashes.
It would have been better if you would have just put LL Cool J though.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. So then I go, let me see, editor, start editing.
Yeah, there's two ways you can do it. There's under parcel editor 2, you have the editing. And then you can say continue because those are all your reference layers showing up there. So
Okay, so I can even go here, right, and say
yeah,
parcel workflows.
and
Go
no,
to
the parcel workflows. We are not able to use parcel workflows. So yeah, that one. And select your parcels.
So we can't use the parcel workflows because we didn't go with the local government information model.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, let's make sure you select just the ones that you need to. This is kind of important here. As you
hold shift
see,
down, and you should be able to get both of them. You'll just have to hold down shift for the additional parcel. Yeah.
but see outside also you have a selection. Okay, so make sure you go down the list there and remove your track maps because you don't want to merge those things there, right?
Oh, okay, I get you.
Yeah. So
These I have to remove, correct? But see,
yeah,
it won't.
the best way to do that would be um, put your selection on the left side. On the left side table of contents,
Uh-huh.
go to the selection tab. Click on the selection tab. 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth button.
Oh, there it is.
Right. Now, as you keep selecting, things will pop up, but make your selection first on the right side, whichever parcels you want to select.
Okay, so I want to do those two right there.
That's it. 3.
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
So then
Okay,
in
now
here,
go. Yeah, there's a button, the white button there beside the track map. So, yeah, that one. Press that. So it will remove
okay.
those from your selection.
Okay, so it'll just keep the two assessors numbers, let's just say.
Right. That's what
Okay,
it is.
okay, I get you.
So selection is tricky. Just be aware of this.
Okay, so once I've done that, then I right click and say merge, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then parcel
And
name.
right here, you could either give it a new parcel name, or you could create a plan here as well. Like if you had a new survey plan, you could click on plan and then create the new survey plan and then merge the parcels under that, or you could just go here and merge them. Yeah.
Okay, so I called it parcel A and then change the new template. Do I do anything in here?
No, nothing else, right?
How
Cache,
about
unless
you
you want.
Yeah, these settings you shouldn't go into those unless, let's say, you're merging to subdivisions
Tracked.
that
Right.
purchased. Yeah, the track maps. Yeah, exactly. But in this case, these are just tax parcels, so we're just going to continue to merge. And I always merge here if I'm going to do it this way. I would do it with the most current tax parcel, and that way it's just easier to edit because it preserves and inherits the attributes from the most current record, which could save you a little bit of time depending on the legal descriptions, right?
Right.
And then I hit OK. Yeah. And should handle that. Now, and this is, Haritha mentioned the annotations. That thing is on workflow. Here you just hit X on attributes. You could just hit the X on top of that.
Okay, so there you go. You see that you find that there is like the lines that come up over there, and you see the hash mark, which is basically telling you that the parcels are still there, right? The historic
Right.
parcels, right?
Right.
One more thing I would like you to see is the attributes of this. So when you look at this, can I request you keyboard and mouse?
Sure.
Okay. So what I want to also show you is now there's different ways of exploring the parcels. I'll show you one, then Cash will show you the other attributes. Okay, these attributes, as you see down here, some of them are automatically filled in. You didn't have to fill in because you took one of those parcels and then you got them in here. But you see all of this: create date, created by, last updated, last editor. These are automatically filled. These are your editor tracking fields. Then there's other IDs like global ID, then shape area. These are all filled by the software automatically. You don't have to do any of those. Okay. If there is anything else that you need to change, you can change them here. But the other way of exploring these attributes, now Cash, go ahead and the parcel.
Sure. So then we would go over here. There's we clicked attributes on the editor toolbar. So let's see. I don't know if I'm able to present. I can walk you through it. So if you click X on the attribute table that's up right now, to the right, just X that out, and then go back over to the table of content, and there you go. On the far left, click on the very far left. There you go. And down here, expand parcel fabric. We just merged. Also expand group parcels. So these are all linked to the same layer, the same feature class, being the parcels feature class inside of the parcel fabric, even though we've broken them out by type fields. So you can right click on parcels in the parcel fabric, just right click on that. Not in group parcels, but right above group parcels there, you'll see just parcels that are gray, and then just right click on those.
That one?
On that.
No,
the one, continue up.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, there you go. Open attribute table here. And then once the attribute table opens up again, it may have gone to another screen.
it's on the same. Can you see?
Is it? Maybe I need to zoom back in. Okay, it's at the bottom there. Sorry, my fault. I was zoomed in
And
too
then
far.
it says show
There you go.
selected. And when you press that blue button over here that says show selected, then you will see the attributes of that specific record.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, once we're here, these APN numbers are no longer current. So what we would do, can we delete those, or what's the next step with that? Or do we get to that annotation portion later?
So
You
which
can edit.
go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. You can edit them here. You could edit them here, or normally you would create a new parcel, and then you would merge these two parcels into the new parcel. But in this case, it looks like the way the data is structured is that you would go directly to the parcels, you would merge them, and then you would enter your new data. So you would enter your new APN, and then keep any other pertinent information like assessor book and assessor page if they're the same. But that'll likely change as well, as you guys know.
The book and the page are going to stay the same. That's probably just going to get a new number, which is higher, maybe a 30 or something like that. But for right now, we're not going to get that number for hypothetically 3 months to 6 months. So we need that's where we got to put that kind of and Cadme wouldn't let us go without something, so we put a -9 in there. So, and that -9 was nice to be traceable, that we needed to go back and fix it.
Yes, so you can do the same here too. You can make it a -9 and wait for it until you get it from the county, right?
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead and change the APN then to -9.
We would do that in our metadata down here below, yeah?
Yeah, you can do it here. You can do it on the other table, which is the attribute table, both ways. So the assessor lot is what you're changing to -9. Okay, good.
And then come to that APN, the second column, Eswin.
Yeah, it's there. It's right there.
Also
Yeah.
put up a minus
Just
9.
note that the attribute window is going to be easier to edit than the table.
Yes, yes, Ted is right. This is another way to open
You can see the table at any time. The attribute window, you can only see records when something's selected in the.
Right. Correct.
So try to use, for Doug and Edmund, try to use the attribute window as much as possible.
Right.
Okay.
Which is up here, the one that attributes here. Right.
Okay.
You can keep typing. Now you can also like sort things and all. You can expand this pane. You can make it go alphabetic, and you can easily go, A, B, C, D, E, F. Where are my attributes, right? So
It's not a terrible idea to make the 01 and the 02 some kind of historic number if we can just change it and put it on if it goes to a different layer. I don't know if that's possible.
So the O1 and O2 are sort of broken links right now, because as soon as you changed your lot number for this, okay, let me actually show you one interesting thing. Let me clear selected features, right? If you wanted to see what it was before, you have to save your edits first, right? So go ahead and save your edits. Editor.
Like the editor drop down.
Sorry, here.
Click it. Left click it.
Eswin, are you clicking, or do you want
No,
us
I'm
to
not
do?
clicking. No,
Okay.
I thought you guys were driving.
Okay, sorry. So editor save edits, okay? And we will also stop editing. I just wanted to show you that there were like there should have been like 2 annotations here, but now we have 3. Okay, so editor stop editing. And you can at any time go here, go back, change version, and then you can look at your the parent version, which is basically the default version. And the default version shows that there are 2 numbers here, but the third number came about when you merged.
But if you guys tell us, go ahead and push it up, and we reconcile and post it, then you're going to see all the parcels. But if you guys don't do that and you guys messed up, then just kill the version and start all over.
We'll go back to that version.
Also, I'm wondering, there is a way, right, Cass, that you can, when you create an edit in the cadastral data, can't you set like a buffer around the data for editing?
Yeah, so like when you're creating like join links and things, or just like a general buffer.
Like you can do, I think like when you start editing, you can start editing on the parcels or the parcel, or basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to eliminate if I'm Esmond and I'm editing this area and I don't want Doug editing in the area, when he checks out these 3 parcels, does that, he create like a buffer that says, I'm just editing these 3, or I'm editing what's adjacent, or I can do a larger buffer? Is there a way to do that?
I'm not 100%. I don't know if I follow 100% there, but I know, like if you, it's not a select by location, but like an actual buffer. Like I'm editing this area, it's locked for me. You can edit this area, it's locked for me. Sort of deal on a version.
Yeah. Well, I know. Yeah, there's a way you can lock your version data to where I can't come in and edit the data.
Correct. On your own protected version, only the default should be able to edit that.
No. But I mean, there's a way within the parcel fabric to set a way to essentially lock the geometry. You and him, basically me and Esmond and Doug can all be editing in a public version. But if I'm editing in this area, essentially you can set it up almost like it's like an old tile system.
Like a grid, yeah.
World.
Yeah, like a grid. That's a great question. Yeah, I haven't really done that much, so I'll look into that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay, let's check on that and get back to you. But I just wanted to show you that these were linked to the older parcel, and now that the older parcel is gone, you still have the annotation hanging out. There's a way that it automatically cleans up, but you can delete these two annotations, and now the new annotation is there. The other thing I wanted to show you real quickly is the version changes comparison. So you can compare with the SDE default, which is the parent version, and you can say filter using the map extents, what the changes are between the two versions.
Haritha, I'm going to be leaving at 4:30. So
Yeah,
any-
I think our training was supposed to be, was it supposed to be done now, right?
4 o'clock, yeah.
4 o'clock, yes.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think we will stop it for now. We just want to, I think today we just wanted to take our time, to explain you the versioning basics and also, but basically this is how you can see the different changes in your versions, right? It shows you on the left side, this is your new version here, and this is a parent version default. You see that there's a historical, there's none there, so those kind of things. As you keep zooming in,
Yeah.
and then on this side, you can compare it that way too. The
And
new
this is-
annotation.
This is the same dialogue, Ken. If you see conflicts, you'll get to see the conflicting, exactly the same dialogue you'll see if you ever get conflicts.
Yeah, there's the same dialog box.
That's pretty interesting to be able to see the before and after. That's a pretty good quality.
Yeah, it's good to check because you want to make sure, and you may be thinking, oh, what was it before, right? This
Right.
is how you can check, right? So in any case, I think today we should stop the training right now, and we will come back, like in the next session, we will continue with the other edits, right? So we have the, I will just go back to Cash's presentation, and we will continue with the other workflows.
Okay,
Okay.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Do you
Haritha.
have, if you have any questions, let us know by then, but you should have finished your on your own exercise until exercise 2. Okay.
Okay.
Everybody's
Thank you,
done
Haritha.
exercise 4. So, okay. So we have the other things coming up. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
much, everyone. This is
So
good.
we-